My mother walked into the will reading carrying the same 2 black trash bags she had filled with my clothes 15 years earlier. She didn't hesitate. She didn't look embarrassed. She carried them like trophies. The room hadn't even settled into silence before she dragged both bags across the polished floor and stopped beside my chair. The sound echoed through the conference room. Every executive looked up. Every attorney stopped organizing documents. Every board member turned toward us. My mother smiled as if she were about to tell a funny family story. Then she rested one hand on the bags and looked directly into my eyes. "We thought you might need help packing again." A few nervous laughs escaped from people who didn't understand the joke. She enjoyed that. Humiliation always worked better when strangers helped. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that 10 minutes earlier, in a private office across the hall, Monica Hale had handed me a document confirming something only 4 people in the building knew. As of 9:50 that morning, I legally owned Mercer Medical Components, the factory where my father had worked for 20 years, the company secretly financing my mother's mortgage, the business keeping my brother's fraudulent supplier alive, and the audit containing enough evidence to send him to federal prison. I simply looked at the bags, then back at my mother. I smiled, not because I had forgiven her, because she had just reminded everyone in that room exactly where our story began. Welcome to Silent Grudge Stories, where family secrets finally come to light and those everyone underestimated finally have a voice. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I always love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you've ever wondered what happens when the person everyone underestimated finally stops staying silent, make sure to subscribe. Because this story is only beginning. My name is Naomi Caldwell. I'm 28 years old, and 15 years earlier, my entire life had fit inside those same 2 trash bags. Monica quietly adjusted the stack of legal binders in front of her without reacting to my mother's performance. She had practiced probate law for over 20 years. It took far more than theatrical cruelty to shake her. The conference room itself looked less like a place for grief than a corporate board meeting. Long walnut table, floor-to-ceiling windows, rows of invited guests, senior managers, outside auditors, department directors, representatives from several charities Evelyn had supported for decades. Everything had been arranged exactly as Evelyn Mercer requested. No flowers, no dramatic portraits, no soft music, only witnesses. That should have warned my family. Instead, they interpreted the audience as an opportunity. My father, Dean Caldwell, stood near the window speaking confidently with several production managers. He had already started acting like the next president of the company. I heard pieces of his conversation. Evelyn trusted me with every production expansion. "I've basically been running this place already. We'll probably announce the transition today." The managers nodded politely. Some even congratulated him. Dean accepted every handshake without correcting anyone. He genuinely believed the company was already his. Across the room, my older brother Travis adjusted his expensive watch while checking messages on his phone. He barely looked toward Evelyn's portrait. Grief wasn't why he came. His supplier company had tripled its revenue during the last 4 years almost entirely through Mercer Medical Components. Every purchase order, every emergency contract, every inflated invoice passed through the factory where our father supervised production. Travis believed today's inheritance would protect all of it. He had no reason to think otherwise. Neither of them knew I had spent the previous 2 years quietly reviewing purchase records they had forgotten even existed. Neither knew every suspicious invoice had already been copied. Neither knew another copy sat inside a secure evidence room belonging to outside investigators. Most importantly, they didn't know I hadn't decided yet whether to protect my brother from prison or let the investigation continue exactly as planned. My mother interrupted my thoughts. "You've gotten prettier." She tilted her head while pretending to admire me. "I suppose expensive clothes help." Nobody answered. She reached down and lightly kicked one of the trash bags toward my feet. "You kept them?" I asked calmly. Her smile widened. "Oh, sweetheart, I never throw away important memories." She wanted everyone watching. She wanted them wondering what kind of daughter would deserve something so cruel. But Evelyn had spent 15 years teaching me something my mother never understood. Never interrupt people while they are exposing themselves. So I said nothing. Marian kept talking. You always did have a talent for making yourself look like the victim. Still, I said nothing. Silence is uncomfortable. People rushed to fill it. And the longer my mother spoke, the more uncomfortable the room became. One board member quietly exchanged glances with another. Someone from Human Resources slowly lowered her coffee. Even Dean's confident smile began fading. Not because he felt guilty, because Marian wasn't following the script he'd imagined. She was making a scene before the reading had even started. Monica finally stood. Ladies and gentlemen, her calm voice immediately reclaimed the room. We'll begin in approximately 5 minutes. She looked directly at my parents. I kindly ask everyone to remain seated until the reading officially begins. Marian opened her mouth. Monica didn't raise her voice. She simply waited. Eventually, my mother returned to her chair, still smiling, still convinced she had won. She hadn't noticed Caleb Ross watching everything from the opposite side of the room. Most people barely noticed Caleb. That was intentional. For 31 years, he had served as director of quality. He rarely spoke during executive meetings, rarely interrupted anyone, rarely expressed opinions. Yet somehow, everyone eventually learned that if Caleb became unusually quiet, something serious was happening. Our eyes met only once, almost imperceptibly. He nodded. Nothing more. No smile. No greeting. Just confirmation. The final audit package had reached the investigators safely. Exactly as planned. I looked back toward the 2 trash bags. For everyone else, they looked like cheap plastic bags filled with old clothes. For me, they represented 15 years of patience, 15 years of preparation, 15 years of refusing to become the angry little girl my family expected me to remain. My mother believed she had brought those bags to humiliate me one last time. She didn't realize they were about to become the symbol of everything she was going to lose. Monica placed both hands on the first binder. The reading will now begin. Nobody in that room realized. The real story had started 15 years earlier. On the night my parents decided protecting my brother's future mattered more than protecting their 13-year-old daughter. 15 years earlier. I am 13 years old, and my brother is already deciding what kind of adult he wants to become. The police never come that night. They almost do. That is exactly why my parents choose me. The missing money isn't much. $3,800. Cash collected by our church youth group to replace medical equipment for a children's clinic. My mother helped organize the fundraiser. My father volunteered to transport the donations the following morning. Instead, the envelope disappears. At first everyone believes someone broke into the house. Until my father walks into Travis's bedroom. The envelope is lying inside his baseball duffel. Half empty, the rest already gone. For 3 full seconds, nobody speaks. Then Travis does exactly what he always does. He laughs. It wasn't stealing. He shrugs. I was borrowing it. My father stares at him. You spent charity money. It was just money. It belonged to sick kids. I'll put it back. With what? Travis doesn't answer. Because there is no answer. He's 16. Already suspended twice for cheating. Already caught shoplifting once. Already one warning away from losing the athletic scholarship every adult around him keeps talking about. If the police become involved, everything disappears. The scholarship, the college offers, the future my parents have spent years building around him. My mother begins crying almost instantly. Not because children lost their donations, because Travis might finally face consequences. She turns toward me. Naomi. I already know that voice. It is the voice she uses whenever she needs someone else to fix a problem she created. She walks closer, places both hands on my shoulders. You've always been the responsible one. I pull away. She follows. If someone asks, my stomach tightens. Tell them you took the money. The room becomes completely silent. Even Travis finally stopped smiling. I look from my mother, to my father, to the envelope, then back again. I didn't take it. We know. Then why would I say I did? My father finally speaks. Because your brother cannot afford this mistake. I blink. I actually wait for someone to laugh. Someone has to. Because surely this cannot be real. Instead, my father keeps talking. You're 13. Nothing serious will happen to you. My chest tightens. You want the police to believe I stole from sick children? It would stay in juvenile court. Travis finally joins in. Come on, Naomi. It isn't forever. I'll make it up to you. I stare at him. He isn't ashamed. He isn't scared. He genuinely believes this is a reasonable request. Something changes inside me. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Something simply stops. I won't do it. Nobody moves. I said. My voice comes out steadier than I expect. I won't lie. My mother's tears disappear almost immediately. It always amazes me how quickly they stop when crying no longer works. Her face hardens. You selfish little girl. I don't answer. You would destroy your brother's future over one mistake. It wasn't my mistake. It becomes yours if you refuse to help. It already belongs to him. Travis slams his hand against the kitchen counter. Just do it. I look directly at him. No. That single word changes my life. My father pushes his chair back, so violently it crashes against the wall. You think you're better than this family? No. You think you're innocent? I am. The silence afterward feels enormous. Then my mother quietly walks upstairs. For one impossible second, I believe she finally understands. I even think she may come back with another solution. Instead, I hear closet doors opening, drawers slamming, hangers falling, heavy footsteps. 5 minutes later, she returns carrying 2 large black trash bags. She drops them onto the living room floor. One, then the other. The sound echoes through the house. Without saying a word, she begins emptying my bedroom into them. Clothes, books, school notebooks, the teddy bear Grandma gave me before she died. Everything. She doesn't fold anything. She stuffs my life into plastic. I stand frozen. Dad! He doesn't even look at me. Please. Nothing. My mother walks back upstairs again. She returns carrying the framed certificate I received after winning the regional math competition. She looks at it, smiles, then snaps the frame against the edge of a table before throwing it into the bag. Glass shatters. Something inside me shatters with it. 20 minutes later, my room is empty. My entire childhood now fits inside 2 garbage bags. My father opens the front door. Cold air rushes inside. You made your choice. I chose the truth. You chose yourself. No. I shake my head. You chose Travis. For the first time all night, my father actually looks uncomfortable. Only for a second. Then it disappears. Leave. I don't move. My mother walks over, grabs one bag, throws it onto the porch. Then the second. She looks me straight in the eyes. If you walk out tonight, don't ever come back. Behind her, Travis is already counting the remaining cash from the stolen envelope. He doesn't even look up. I slowly pick up the first bag, then the second. Neither feels especially heavy. That surprises me. I thought a whole life would weigh more. I step outside. The door slams before I even reach the sidewalk. The porch light switches off. The house disappears into darkness. No one comes after me. No one calls my name. No one opens the door. I stand there for several seconds, holding 2 trash bags, realizing that my parents haven't thrown me out because I refuse to lie. They've thrown me out because, for the first time in my life, their favorite child couldn't make me disappear in his place. I start walking. I have nowhere to go, and I still don't know that less than an hour from now, a woman named Evelyn Mercer is going to ask me a single question that will quietly change the rest of my life forever. The community center closes at 9. By 9:15, everyone has gone home. Except me. I sit on the concrete steps with 2 trash bags beside my feet, trying to convince myself I only need somewhere to sleep until morning. The volunteers have already turned off most of the lights. The parking lot is almost empty. One old pickup, a delivery van, and a dark sedan parked beneath the only working lamp. I don't notice the woman watching me until she speaks. You've been counting the cracks in that sidewalk for 23 minutes. I look up. She's standing a few feet away, holding 2 paper cups. Late 60s. Gray hair pulled neatly behind her neck. Simple navy coat. No expensive jewelry. No dramatic expression. She doesn't look sorry for me. She looks curious. She offers 1 cup. Hot chocolate. I hesitate. It isn't poisoned. For the first time that night, I almost smile. Almost. I take the cup. She sits beside me without asking permission. Neither of us speaks. 5 minutes pass. 10. Most adults would already be asking questions. Where are your parents? What happened? Are you okay? She asks none of them. Finally, she looks at the trash bags. You packed in a hurry. I didn't pack. She nods once. I imagined as much. Another silence. Then, she says something that doesn't make sense until many years later. People rarely throw away what frightens them. I don't answer. They usually throw away what refuses to obey them. Her eyes never leave the parking lot. Only now do I notice she's observing people. Not staring at me, as if she's studying the world instead of judging it. A police cruiser slowly passes the entrance. My heart nearly stops. It doesn't turn in. It keeps driving. She notices. You think they're coming for you. I nod. I didn't do anything. I believe you. She says it so naturally that I almost cry, not because she solved my problem, because she's the first person to believe me without asking for proof. She finishes her coffee. Do you have somewhere to sleep? No. Any relatives? I shake my head. She stands. Come with me. I don't move. My parents said not to leave with strangers. She looks back. They also left a 13-year-old alone at night. I can't argue with that. She picks up one trash bag. I quickly grab the other. I can carry mine. I know. She smiles very slightly. I was carrying mine. Only later do I realize what she means. She isn't helping because she thinks I'm weak. She's simply carrying part of the weight because that's what decent people do. The drive is quiet. She doesn't interrogate me. Doesn't ask what I did. Doesn't ask why my parents abandoned me. Instead, she turns on the radio. Soft jazz fills the silence. After several minutes, she finally introduces herself. My name is Evelyn. Naomi. I know. That catches my attention. You know me. I volunteer at the community center. I've seen you helping younger children with homework. You always leave after everyone else. You stack the chairs before anyone asks. I didn't realize anyone noticed. She notices everything. We stop outside a modest brick house. Not a mansion. Not an estate. Just a warm home with lights still on inside. She unlocks the front door. No speeches. No pity. No promises. She turns toward me. There are only 3 rules. I wait. You tell the truth. You clean up after yourself. You never expect life to become fair. I blink. That's all. For tonight. I step inside. The house smells like cinnamon and old books. Every shelf is full. History. Engineering. Medicine. Business. There are photographs, but surprisingly few people in them. Factories. Machines. Employees wearing safety glasses. Production lines. Awards. Not family vacations. Not birthdays. Factories. Only much later will I understand why. She points toward a hallway. Second door on the left. The shower works. The bed is clean. The towels are inside the closet. She starts walking away. I stop her. Why are you helping me? She doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she studies me the same way she studied the parking lot. Patiently. I've spent 40 years hiring people. I've learned something. She walks closer. When someone lies, they usually talk first. When someone tells the truth, they're usually too exhausted to defend themselves. I don't know what to say. She continues walking, then stops one last time. Oh, I look back. Never interrupt people while they're exposing themselves. She disappears down the hallway. The sentence doesn't make sense. Not yet. I shower. The hot water burns my skin after hours in the cold. When I finally sit on the bed, I notice fresh pajamas folded neatly beside the pillow. No labels. No explanation. No awkward conversation. Just quiet dignity. For the first time since leaving home, I feel safe enough to fall asleep. Downstairs, I hear the telephone ring. Then Evelyn's voice. Calm. Controlled. No. A pause. I'm not calling social services tonight. Another pause. I've already made my decision. Long silence. Then one final sentence. If her family wants her back, they know exactly where to find her. She hangs up. I don't know who called. I don't know that she already recognizes my last name, or that she knows exactly who Dean Caldwell is, because Dean Caldwell has worked for her company for nearly 15 years. And during those same 15 years, she has quietly watched him become the kind of man who never takes responsibility when something goes wrong. As I fall asleep upstairs, Evelyn walks into her office. She opens a locked filing cabinet, pulls out an employee folder. The name on the tab reads, Dean Caldwell. She places my name on a blank notepad beside it, then writes just one sentence. The daughter is nothing like the father. She closes the folder, turns off the light, and makes a decision that will quietly reshape every life connected to Mercer Medical Components, including mine, including my parents, including my brothers. None of us know it yet, but 15 years later, every secret hidden inside Dean Caldwell's factory will begin with the same night he abandoned his own daughter. The next morning, Evelyn wakes me before sunrise, not with comfort, not with questions, with work. A broom waits beside the back door. The sidewalk's first. I stare at her. I thought. You thought what? I don't know. She hands me a pair of gloves. This house belongs to everyone who lives in it. You live here now. So you work. No speeches. No sympathy. No discussion. Just responsibility. For the next hour, I sweep leaves from the sidewalk while the neighborhood slowly wakes around me. When I finish, Evelyn walks outside carrying 2 plates. Eggs. Toast. Orange juice. She looks at the sidewalk. Nods once. Better. That single word feels bigger than every compliment my parents ever gave me. 3 days later, someone knocks on the front door. I already know who it is. My father. I freeze halfway down the hallway. Evelyn doesn't. She opens the door without hesitation. Dean Caldwell forces a polite smile. I'm here for my daughter. Evelyn doesn't move. Are you? His smile weakens. We've had misunderstandings. I'd like Naomi to come home. Evelyn says nothing. Silence stretches. Dean keeps talking. It was an emotional night. We all said things. Still, nothing. He becomes uncomfortable. Finally, Evelyn asks only one question. Has your son confessed? Dean blinks. I beg your pardon. The money. The theft. The lie. Has your son confessed? Dean's expression hardens immediately. That's family business. So is abandoning your child. Another silence. Dean shifts his weight. We're willing to move forward. Evelyn looks directly into his eyes. No. He frowns. No. You are willing to move on. She is expected to pretend nothing happened. Those are different things. Dean exhales sharply. You don't know our family. I know enough. She gently closes the door. Not violently. Not dramatically. Simply closes it. I watch through the window as my father stands on the porch for almost a minute. He never knocks again. He leaves. I don't see him for another 15 years. Life settles into something almost unfamiliar. Routine. School. Homework. Dinner. Reading. Evelyn rarely praises me. She also never insults me. Everything is earned. Everything. One evening, she places a newspaper beside my plate. An article about a medical device recall. Thousands of defective parts. Millions of dollars lost. People injured. What happened? She asks. I read it. The supplier lied. She shakes her head. No. The company trusted the supplier. Again. I answered too quickly. They failed quality inspections. She shakes her head once more. They stopped asking questions. She folds the newspaper. Fraud survives where curiosity dies. That sentence stays with me. Years later, it becomes my profession. At 14, she brings me somewhere I've never seen before. Mercer Medical Components. The factory, the parking lot alone, is larger than my entire middle school. Employees move between buildings wearing blue uniforms. Forklifts cross loading docks. Production lines run behind enormous glass windows. The place feels alive. I stare at everything. Evelyn notices. This isn't a factory. I look at her. It's responsibility. She walks through the production floor greeting everyone by name. Not executives. Everyone. Security guards. Janitors. Technicians. Machine operators. She remembers birthdays. Children's names. Medical recoveries. Retirements. Everyone smiles when they see her. Not because they're afraid. Because they genuinely respect her. Then, I see my father. He's across the production floor, supervising a shipment. For a second, I think he'll recognize me. He doesn't. He walks right past us. Evelyn notices me watching. You want to speak to him? I slowly shake my head. No. She simply nods. Neither of us mentions him again. The years pass. I study. I work. I earn scholarships. Not because Evelyn buys opportunities, because she refuses to. If someone gives you something, she says, make sure they can't take it back. At 16, I begin helping organize old supplier files after school. Just filing documents. Nothing important. Or so I think. One afternoon, I notice something strange. 2 invoices. Same purchase order. Different prices. I point at them. Someone made a mistake. Evelyn looks over. No. She studies the pages. Someone made money. She doesn't explain further. She files both copies into a separate folder. Red label. No title. I never see that folder again. But I remember it. Years later, I realize it is the first fraud I ever discovered. At 19, I'm already studying forensic accounting. While my classmates dream about investment banking, I become obsessed with one question. How do ordinary people steal millions without anyone noticing? The answer surprises me. Most don't hide. They simply count on everyone else being too busy to look. Evelyn smiles when I tell her. Now you're asking useful questions. Meanwhile, my family keeps living as if I no longer exist. Occasionally, someone from my old neighborhood mentions Travis. Great athlete. Popular. Started a small manufacturing company. Doing very well. Every story ends the same way. Your parents must be proud. I never answer. Because I already know something they don't. People who escape consequences once rarely stop. They usually become more confident, not more honest. The summer I turned 26, Evelyn calls me into her office. No ceremony. No congratulations. Just a thick stack of supplier contracts waiting on her desk. I need another opinion. I spend 3 days reviewing them. By the 4th, I stop sleeping well. Numbers don't match. Shipping volumes don't match. Several emergency purchases happen without competitive bids. One supplier appears over and over again. Different products. Different invoices. Same owner. Ross Industrial Supply. I freeze. The registered owner isn't Travis. It's someone named Michael Ross. But something feels wrong. The company exists mostly on paper. Its warehouse is almost empty. Its revenue comes almost entirely from Mercer Medical Components. I quietly place the folder on Evelyn's desk. I think someone is stealing from you. She doesn't look surprised. Instead, she opens a drawer, removes the same red folder I first saw 10 years earlier. Only now, it's thick enough to barely close. She slides it toward me. I've been waiting for you to be ready. My hand stopped moving. Inside are invoices, inspection reports, anonymous complaints, internal memos, years of unanswered questions. Every page points toward the same invisible network. Then I reach the final document, the authorized production signature. I recognize it instantly. Dean Caldwell, my father. I look up slowly. Evelyn has been watching my reaction the entire time. She says only one sentence. The hardest investigations, she pauses, are the ones where you already know everyone's name. Before I can answer, someone knocks urgently on her office door. It isn't a secretary. It isn't security. It's Caleb Ross. And for the first time in 30 years at Mercer Medical Components, he looks genuinely afraid. Caleb never runs. Not once in 30 years. That's why everyone stops what they're doing when they see him crossing the executive floor almost at a sprint. He doesn't acknowledge anyone. He walks straight into Evelyn's office and quietly closes the door behind him. His face has lost all color. Evelyn doesn't panic. She simply folds her hands. What happened? Caleb places a sealed envelope on her desk. I verified it myself. She opens it, reads the first page, then the second. She doesn't change expression. She slides the papers toward me. Read. I do. Halfway through the first page, my stomach tightens. Someone inside Mercer Medical Components has been deleting quality inspection records before external audits. Entire batches, medical components, sterilization reports, safety certifications. Gone. Not accidentally. Deliberately. If those missing records reach federal regulators, the company won't just pay fines. Production will stop. Hospitals will lose suppliers. Employees will lose jobs. Patients could lose far more than that. I look up. Who? Caleb answers immediately. We don't know. But whoever it is has administrator access. That means one thing. This isn't warehouse theft anymore. Someone inside executive management is protecting it. Evelyn quietly closes the file. How long? Caleb takes a slow breath. I think. He hesitates. At least 8 years. 8 years. Long before I ever entered the company. Long before I reviewed my first invoice. This network has been growing while everyone kept trusting the wrong people. Then Caleb says something that changes everything. I also check supplier access. He turns toward me. Ross Industrial Supply isn't the real company. I stare at him. The owner is only a nominee. He slides another document across the desk. Corporate registration. Beneficial ownership. Tax records. 3 different shell companies. One signature repeats across every transfer. Travis Caldwell. My brother. The room becomes completely silent. Not because we're surprised. Because now we finally have proof. For years, the theft hid behind fake directors, fake addresses, fake contracts. But every layer eventually leads back to the same person. Travis. Evelyn leans back. So, she looks at me. Now you know. I nod slowly. She already knew. She has known for years. Not every detail, but enough to suspect. Enough to wait. Enough to avoid accusing anyone before evidence could survive in court. That's who Evelyn is. She never destroys someone with assumptions, only with facts. She notices my expression. What are you thinking? I answer honestly. I'm thinking my father signed every approval. Caleb nods. He did. And my brother received the money. Yes. I look between them. So either my father knew, or someone used him. Neither answers. Because neither possibility is good, the following months become the hardest of my life. Not because of the investigation. Because I now work inside the same company as my father, without him ever realizing who is slowly dismantling the fraud around him. Officially, I'm only an external forensic consultant. Different office, different building, almost no contact with production. Exactly as Evelyn planned. She wants the investigation invisible. Every invoice I request, someone delivers. Every warehouse inventory I compare, another inconsistency appears. One fake shipment becomes 5. 5 become 23. 23 become more than 100 suspicious transactions. Every answer uncovers 3 new lies. Every lie leads somewhere bigger. Some nights, I leave the office after midnight. Not because I'm tired, because I can no longer convince myself this is only about money. Medical devices are being certified without proper testing. Replacement parts are billed twice. Emergency purchases never arrive. Someone isn't just stealing. Someone is gambling with patients' lives. One evening, Evelyn finds me alone in the archive room. Boxes surround my desk. Contracts, purchase orders, inspection reports. I've stopped counting. She places another folder beside me. You missed dinner. I wasn't hungry. She smiles faintly. No, you forgot. She always knows the difference. I rub my eyes. I keep thinking. If Dean knew, I don't know how I'll ever look at him again. She sits across from me. For several seconds, she studies the ceiling instead of me. Then she says quietly, most people imagine betrayal begins with hatred. It doesn't. It begins with small excuses. Just this once. Just one signature. Just one payment. Just one shortcut. 8 years later, they no longer recognize themselves. I close another folder. So you think he isn't evil? She looks directly into me. I think the law doesn't measure souls. It measures choices. That sentence stays with me. Weeks become months. The investigation grows, quietly. Nobody suspects anything. Especially Travis. He becomes louder. More arrogant. He buys a new house. A sports car. Posts photographs from expensive vacations. Everyone congratulates him. Everyone says how successful he has become. I know where the money comes from. Every smiling photograph feels stolen. Then, everything changes in one afternoon. Evelyn collapses. Not dramatically. Not in front of employees. We're reviewing supplier renewals. She suddenly stops speaking. Her pen slips from her hand. For 1 second, she simply looks confused. Then she falls sideways. I catch her before she reaches the floor. The ambulance arrives within minutes. The emergency room moves quickly. Doctors, monitors, machines. Hours pass. Finally, the cardiologist walks toward me. I'm sorry. Her heart has become much weaker. Treatment may buy time. But you should prepare. The words don't feel real. Evelyn has always seemed permanent. Like the factory itself. Like sunrise. People like her aren't supposed to disappear. Recovery is slow. She returns home. Not back to work. For the first time, Mercer Medical Components begins operating without Evelyn inside the building. Executives become restless. Board members start discussing succession. Rumors spread through every department. Dean becomes noticeably more confident. Employees begin saying, when Evelyn retires, Dean will probably run operations. He never corrects them. He encourages it. Travis grows even bolder. His company suddenly submits the largest supplier proposal in its history. Nearly every department recommends approval. Only one signature remains, Evelyn's. She quietly places the contract back into its envelope and signed. She looks at me. Not yet. A week later, Monica Hale arrives carrying 2 thick binders. Not 1, 2. She locks the study door behind her. The 3 of us spend nearly 6 hours reviewing documents. Corporate bylaws, trust agreements, voting shares, private letters, instructions. None of it resembles an ordinary will. This is something much larger. Every scenario has already been anticipated. Every legal challenge already answered. Every contingency already prepared. Monica finally closes the last binder. If this proceeds, she looks first at Evelyn, then at me. There will be no way to reverse it. Evelyn doesn't hesitate. Good. She signs the final page, then slides the pen toward me. Naomi. I frown. What is it? She smiles. Not sadly, proudly. I've spent 15 years teaching you how to uncover lies. She pauses. But I still need to know one thing. The room becomes completely silent. If one day you have enough evidence to send your own brother to prison, will you protect your family, or will you protect the truth? I open my mouth. No words come out, because for the first time, I realize that question is no longer hypothetical. And somewhere inside Mercer Medical Components, someone has just learned that the investigation is getting dangerously close. 3 weeks later, Evelyn Mercer dies quietly in her sleep. There are no dramatic final speeches, no crowded hospital room, no last-minute confessions, Only one handwritten note resting beside her bed. For Naomi. Monica delivers it without opening it. I was instructed to wait until after the funeral. I don't ask to read it sooner. If Evelyn taught me anything, it's that timing changes everything. The funeral is exactly what Evelyn would have hated. Too many cameras. Too many executives pretending to cry. Too many people speaking about a woman they barely knew. I stay in the back, watching, listening, learning. Dean spends almost the entire reception talking with board members. He doesn't look devastated. He looks optimistic. Every conversation sounds almost identical. Evelyn trusted me. I know every department. I'll make sure her legacy continues. Several directors nod. One even asks, "When do you think the board votes?" Dean smiles. I think they've already decided. Across the room, Travis laughs with several suppliers. He's already discussing future contracts, future expansions, future profits, as if Evelyn's funeral is simply another networking event. I realize something. Neither of them is mourning. They're waiting. Waiting for the will. Waiting for power. Waiting for money. They have no idea. They're walking toward the worst day of their lives. The following Monday, Mercer Medical Components operates as if nothing happened. Production continues. Orders leave the warehouses. Employees clock in. Machines never stop. Only the executive floor feels different. People whisper. Doors stay closed. Meetings multiply. Nobody knows who will become the next controlling shareholder. Rumors spread every hour. Some say Dean. Others say the board. Some believe the company will be sold. Nobody mentions me. Exactly as planned. Monica calls me at 7:15 that morning. The reading begins at 10. I know. Come 30 minutes early. Is something wrong? No. A pause. It's simply time. When I arrive, security doesn't send me toward the conference room. Instead, they escort me to Evelyn's private office. Monica is already waiting. 2 binders rest on the desk. The same 2 I saw weeks earlier. She locks the door, then hands me a sealed envelope. Evelyn wanted you to read this alone. My hands tremble slightly. I break the seal. Inside, only 1 page. No legal language. No instructions. Just Evelyn's handwriting. Naomi, if you're reading this, it means people are already deciding who deserves everything I built. Don't argue with them. Don't interrupt them. The truth always speaks louder after arrogant people finish talking. I smile despite myself. The old lesson. Again. I continue reading. You're going to see people pretend they loved me. You'll watch them claim sacrifices they never made. You'll hear promises they never intended to keep. Let them. Because every unnecessary word becomes evidence. I stop. Close my eyes. For a second, I can almost hear her voice. Calm. Patient. Certain. Then I reach the final paragraph. One more thing. You spent 15 years believing I rescued you. I didn't. You rescued yourself the night you chose the truth over comfort. Everything after that was simply giving you enough time to become who you already were. I fold the letter carefully, not because it's fragile, because I already know it's the last conversation we'll ever have. Monica waits until I finish, then quietly slides another document across the desk. I need your signature. I read the title. Acceptance of controlling ownership. 51%. Voting control. Effective immediately. No board approval required. No waiting period. No appeal. I sign. The ink barely dries before Monica extends her hand. Congratulations. She pauses deliberately. Chairwoman Caldwell. The title doesn't feel real. Not yet. I look around Evelyn's office. Nothing changes. The furniture remains the same. The photographs remain the same. Outside, employees keep working. Inside, an entire corporation has just changed owners. Without applause, without announcement, without anyone outside this room knowing. Monica checks her watch. 9:50. I remember that time, because exactly 10 minutes remain before everyone gathers for the will reading. 10 minutes, during which my father still believes he'll inherit leadership. My mother still believes she'll inherit wealth. My brother still believes his supplier contracts are untouchable. None of them know. They've already lost. Before leaving, Monica opens one final folder. The investigation. Inside, every report we've built over 2 years. Financial fraud, procurement manipulation, false certifications, shell companies, hidden ownership, everything. She places her finger on one page. The investigators are ready. I nod. She continues. They're waiting only because Evelyn insisted they wait. Why? Because she wanted innocent employees protected first. I understand immediately. If arrests happen too early, production stops. Hospitals lose supplies. Hundreds of workers suffer. Evelyn planned everything. Even justice. Monica closes the folder. Once today's reading ends, the timing becomes your decision. The weight of those words settles over me. For the first time, the investigation no longer belongs to Evelyn. It belongs to me. A soft knock interrupts us. Caleb steps inside. He closes the door carefully, then hands me a small key. What is this? Archive Room C. I've already searched it. He nods. You searched the official files. This opens the unofficial ones. I frown. There are more. He gives a tired smile. I spent 31 years watching good people ignore obvious questions. I stopped trusting filing cabinets a long time ago. He leans closer. Everything Travis couldn't destroy is waiting in that room. My heartbeat quickens. There are originals. He nods. Original invoices. Original signatures. Original shipping logs. I stare at the key. If those records are authentic, Caleb finishes my sentence. Your brother doesn't just face fraud. He faces prison. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Caleb studies my face. I need to ask. I already know the question. When the time comes, are you really going to let them arrest him? I don't answer immediately. Instead, I remember 13-year-old Naomi standing barefoot outside her parents' house, holding 2 trash bags, begging someone to open the door. Nobody did. I slowly close my hand around the key, then look back at Caleb. I'll do what protects the truth. He nods once. Nothing more. Outside the office, I hear voices gathering in the conference room. Executives, lawyers, board members, my family. Everyone is taking their seats. Everyone believes the story is about to begin. They don't realize the ending has already been signed. And in less than 1 minute, my mother will walk through those doors carrying 2 black trash bags, completely unaware that she's about to remind the new owner of the company exactly why none of them can ever be trusted again. The room is completely silent, not because people are grieving, because everyone is calculating who will gain power, who will lose it, who will sit at the head of the table after today. Monica waits until every chair is occupied. She looks around once, confirms attendance, then quietly closes the conference room doors. The sound echoes across the room. Nobody notices that those doors will not open again for nearly 3 hours. My mother is still smiling. The 2 black trash bags remain beside her chair. She deliberately leaves them where everyone can see. Every few minutes, someone glances toward them. Nobody asks why they're there. People assume they're part of some strange family joke. Only I know they're about to become evidence, not legal evidence, character evidence. Dean sits perfectly upright, hands folded, tie adjusted. Every movement screams confidence. One board member leans toward him. You must be nervous. Dean smiles. Not really. I've spent almost 3 decades preparing for this. Across the table, Travis barely hides his excitement. He whispers something to one of his attorneys. Both laugh quietly. He already believes the next supplier contracts belong to him. His future has never looked brighter. He has absolutely no idea that every contract his company holds will cease to exist before lunchtime. Monica opens the first binder. The last will and testament of Evelyn Grace Mercer. Nobody interrupts. She begins exactly where Evelyn instructed. Not with ownership, not with money, with gratitude, scholarships, medical research grants. employee emergency funds, donations to children's hospitals, pension guarantees for retired workers. Every page reminds the room of something uncomfortable. Evelyn never built the company for herself. She built it for everyone around her. Several executives quietly lower their heads. They suddenly realize they're listening to the values of a woman they can never replace. 20 minutes pass. No inheritance yet. No company. No shares. Only responsibility. Impatience begins spreading around the table. Travis checks his watch. Dean shifts in his chair. My mother sighs loudly. Finally, she interrupts. Monica, we're all aware Evelyn was generous, but perhaps we could move to the business matters. Several people nod. Monica doesn't. She calmly turns another page. I'll continue exactly as Mrs. Mercer instructed. My mother's smile weakens. For the first time, someone has publicly ignored her. Another 15 minutes pass. The room grows warmer. Coffee cups empty. Nobody speaks anymore. Then, Monica reaches the final binder. Without changing her expression, she says, the remaining ownership of Mercer Medical Components shall transfer according to the following provisions. Every head lifts. Dean unconsciously straightens his jacket. Travis leans forward. Even my mother stops pretending not to care. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. Monica continues reading. The current board of directors shall remain in place temporarily. Dean smiles. Exactly what he expected. The executive leadership structure shall remain unchanged. His smile grows wider. Until the controlling shareholder appoints new leadership. He barely notices the wording. Controlling shareholder. Not president. Not CEO. Owner. Then Monica reaches the next sentence. She pauses. Looks directly at me. The room follows her eyes. For the first time, everyone notices where I'm sitting. Monica speaks clearly. Effective immediately. 51% of all voting shares shall transfer to Naomi Caldwell. Silence. Absolute silence. Nobody breathes. Nobody moves. For nearly 5 full seconds, the room simply freezes. Dean blinks once. Twice. As if his brain refuses to process the words. Travis actually laughs. A confused laugh. What? He looks around. That's... He waits for someone else to laugh too. Nobody does. Monica repeats the sentence. More slowly. 51%. To Naomi Caldwell. Reality finally arrives. It hits every person in the room at a different speed. One board member quietly removes his glasses. Another slowly sits back. Someone near the window whispers, "My God!" Dean turns toward me. His face has become completely colorless. No! His voice barely works. No! That's impossible. Monica calmly lifts another document. It has already been executed. It became legally effective at 9:50 this morning. I watch realization spread across his face. He understands. Not in 5 minutes. Not tomorrow. Already. He isn't about to lose the company. He already has. Travis suddenly stands. This is insane. My family built this company. No. The word leaves my mouth quietly. Yet everyone hears it. Evelyn built it. He stares at me. You manipulated her. I simply look back. No. You poisoned her against us. No. You planned this. Still. No. His breathing grows faster. Because every accusation sounds weaker than the last. People around the table begin remembering something. Evelyn's choices. Evelyn's discipline. Evelyn's intelligence. Manipulating someone like her never sounded believable. My mother finally explodes. This is theft. She points directly at me. She isn't even family. Monica calmly reaches for another page. Mrs. Mercer anticipated that objection. She begins reading. Family is not determined by blood. Family is determined by the people who protect what matters when everyone else protects themselves. Nobody speaks. Monica continues. Naomi Caldwell never asked me for money. Never asked me for ownership. Never asked me for special treatment. She earned every responsibility I now leave in her hands. The room becomes even quieter. Then comes the sentence that destroys my parents. The only member of the Caldwell family who never attempted to profit from Mercer Medical Components was Naomi. Dean slowly closes his eyes. He already knows what everyone else is beginning to suspect. If Evelyn wrote that, she knew. She knew much more than anyone imagined. My mother suddenly grabs one of the trash bags. She throws it across the conference room. It lands directly beside my chair. You'll always be the girl who left carrying garbage. Nobody laughs. Nobody. Instead, everyone turns toward Marianne. Not me. Her own words expose her. HR looks horrified. Several executives exchange uncomfortable glances. One elderly board member quietly mutters, "You threw your 13-year-old daughter out?" The room changes. Completely. Until now, they've only seen a family dispute. Now, they're seeing who my parents really are. Exactly as Evelyn predicted. Never interrupt people while they're exposing themselves. I don't say a single word. It says, "Chairwoman, before anyone leaves, I have one more document to present." I place a thick black folder on the table. No title. No logo. Only one red stamp across the cover. Confidential. Federal fraud investigation. Across the room, for the first time that morning, Travis Caldwell stops smiling. Nobody touches the folder. Nobody even breathes. The red stamp across the cover seems to pull every eye in the room toward it. Confidential. Federal fraud investigation. Travis is the first to recover. He forces a laugh. A stunt. He looks around the table. She's bluffing. No one laughs with him. Because something has changed. 5 minutes ago, people saw him as the successful son of a respected executive. Now, they're remembering every extravagant purchase, every luxury vacation, every impossible business success. Every story suddenly sounds different. I don't open the folder. Not yet. Instead, I look toward Monica. She gives a barely noticeable nod. Everything is ready, exactly as Evelyn planned. I finally speak. For the past 2 years, Mercer Medical Components has conducted an independent forensic audit. Murmurs spread around the room. Some executives exchange confused looks. Others begin mentally reviewing every document they've signed. The investigation began after repeated inconsistencies were discovered in supplier contracts. Dean slowly turns toward me. His lips part, but no sound comes out. I continue. It expanded after quality records disappeared. Another silence. It became criminal when investigators discovered shell companies receiving fraudulent payments. Travis suddenly slams both hands onto the table. "This is ridiculous. You have no proof." I finally place one hand on the folder. I do. I open it. Inside, there isn't one report. There are dozens. Invoices, shipping manifests, corporate registrations, bank transfers, photographs, inspection logs, original signatures, years of evidence. I slowly remove the first document. Ross Industrial Supply. I place it on the table. Then another. Anderson Logistics. Another. Northbridge Procurement. Another. Brightline Medical. Each company appears different. Different owners. Different addresses. Different accountants. Then I place the final chart in the center of the table. Colored lines connect every company together. Every arrow, every transfer, every payment ends at the same name. Travis Caldwell. The room explodes into whispers. One director grabs the chart. Another stands to read it more closely. Someone quietly says, "My God!" Travis lunges toward the papers. "They're fake." Caleb calmly slides another binder forward. "No." His voice is steady. "They're originals." Every head turns toward him. For 31 years, Caleb almost never speaks during board meetings. When he finally does, everyone listens. I preserved every original document removed from the system. He looks directly at Travis. "You deleted digital records. You forgot paper survives." Travis's face empties. For the first time, real fear appears. Not anger. Fear. Dean suddenly stands. "This ends now." He points at me. You don't understand procurement. I signed those approvals. I authorized those vendors. My heartbeat slows. There it is. The sentence Evelyn knew would eventually come. Dean keeps talking. If mistakes were made, they're mine. My son had nothing to do with them. I closed my eyes for one brief second. Exactly what Evelyn predicted. A father choosing the golden child. Again. Even now. Even here. Even after everything. I open my eyes. You want to take responsibility? Dean nods immediately. Yes. I approved every contract. I'll answer for every signature. The room becomes silent again. Then I quietly ask. Every payment too. His confidence hesitates. Only slightly. What? Every offshore transfer. His expression changes. The shell companies. He says nothing. The beneficial ownership documents. Silence. The false tax filings. Dean slowly turns toward Travis. For the first time all morning. He looks genuinely confused. Not acting. Confused. He didn't know everything. He signed. He approved. He stopped asking questions. But someone kept building the fraud beyond him. Someone much greedier. Someone much more dangerous. His own son. Dean whispers. Travis. Travis doesn't answer. He won't even look at him. Monica quietly stands. There is one final matter. She removes another envelope, smaller than the others. She hands it to me. Evelyn instructed that this be opened only if someone attempted to falsely confess. Every eye fixes on the envelope. I unfold the single handwritten page. Evelyn's handwriting fills it. If you're reading this, someone is trying to protect Travis. Dean freezes. Dean, I've watched you for 28 years. You're loyal, hardworking, capable. But every time your son failed, you protected him instead of correcting him. No one moves. That is why this company survived despite your leadership. Not because of it. Dean's shoulders collapse. If you're willing to sacrifice your freedom today, remember that you were never willing to sacrifice your pride 15 years ago. When your daughter needed only one person to believe her. The silence hurts. Even Travis finally lifts his eyes. Not toward me. Toward our father. For the first time, he sees the damage. Not financial. Human. A sharp knock interrupts everything. Everyone turns toward the conference room doors. Another knock. 3 times. Firm. Professional. Monica checks her watch. Exactly 11:30. Right on schedule. She walks calmly to the entrance. Unlocks the door. It opens. 2 federal investigators step inside. Behind them, 2 uniformed officers. No flashing lights. No dramatic shouting. Just quiet authority. The lead investigator looks around the room. Good morning. He opens a leather folder. We're looking for Travis Caldwell. Every drop of color disappears from Travis's face. He instinctively steps backward. His attorney immediately stands. My client won't answer any questions. The investigator nods politely. That's his right. He removes several documents. We also have warrants to seize financial records belonging to Ross Industrial Supply and its affiliated entities. The room erupts into whispers again. One executive quietly sits down. Another covers her mouth. This isn't rumor anymore. This is real. The investigator turns to me. Chairwoman Caldwell, thank you for preserving the original documentation. I nod once. No innocent employees should be affected. He gives a respectful nod. That was our intention as well. Then he looks back at Travis. We'll need you to come with us. For one endless second. Nobody moves. Then Dean steps forward. No. Every head turns. He looks directly at the investigator. My son. His voice breaks. Doesn't deserve prison. The investigator says nothing. Dean turns toward me. Not as an executive. Not as an enemy. As a father who has finally realized how much he has already lost. His eyes fill with tears. For the first time in 15 years, he says my name. Naomi. And the entire room waits to hear whether the daughter they abandoned is about to save the son they never stopped choosing.